I think it's time to see some cats. Get everybody their stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's cast.
Ah, yes. Ooh. Frederick James Buchanan Conison III, Duke of Bridgeport, first of his name, but the third. How do you do on this fine fall day? Hello, how are you? All right, we got kitties to see. We got kitties to see, but it's on this side. It's not on this side. It's the middle section is weird. It's the overlap section. It's the transition section. It's the baton handoff section. So that's one of those things where it's like, whether it be a Tuesday cast, hi, Mita Pita. Hi, Mita Pita. Hey, Sugar Pie. What matter? What matter? You scared? Are you scared about something? Ghosts? Are there ghosts? It reminds me, I watched a super scary short film on YouTube called Demons and Ghosts from Hell. It's extremely scary. You can't, and children shouldn't watch it. So I'm out here like doing some positive, happy things in the sunlight. You know, because it's still, by the time I'm filming this, well, of course, by the time that this is posted, it's going to be no longer spooky season. It's going to be getting into gobble gobble season. And then inching our way into the most wonderful time of the year. But even though, you know, like, whoa, November. No, that is when Christmas is allowed to slowly inch its way into our lives. November is like the slow spread. Where it's kind of like, you know, it's, you know, don't get me wrong. You don't want to start off like November 1st and then all of a sudden you just wake up and I'm like, oh my God, I got stage 4 Christmas happening. That's not, it's just like, oh, wait, like, I found a lump. It's a sugar plum. I don't know, hopefully it doesn't spread. So I gotta try to keep this one tight. There's something about Thursday casts, they go long. And it's the funny thing, because there's actually technically usually more cats, but it's like they're more like tightly spaced, or they're not as geographically separated. There's more terrain to cover. There's technically like the foot traffic of like 2 different sections kind of mushed together, whereas like the foot traffic is kind of like one section over there, a little different. Hello. Hi, pretty girl. Hi, pretty girl. What are you being all cranky for? What do you got toot in your pants? What you got crinkle nose? What you got crinkle nose for, huh? Kiki, I love you. I love you so much. Let's get a close up of that pretty face. Let's get a close up of that pretty face. More corn, less kettle. Come on. It's the holiday season. You don't care. The holiday season. Holidays are interesting, and a lot of regardless of the origin, because you have to realize there's layers and layers and layers. Hi, of munch. Wow. Layers of munch. What happened here? No? Okay. Well, don't ask. He's like, don't worry about it. But there's a lot of different, I don't know, I'm trying to do like a visual metaphor. This is what layers look if you didn't catch the memo before. Hi, Rasa. Hi. Hello. Good girl. There's a good girl. Hi, baby. But, you know, there's different, of course, there's different kind of like cultural meanings and origin type things for a lot of different either holidays or elements and aspects of holidays, cultural traditions, parts of holiday expressions. But a lot of this stuff are just kind of different bits of window dressing to, you know, I think celebrate like really more primordial, you know, kind of times, or primordial experiences that humans, you know, have been experiencing for, I mean, thousands, tens of thousands of years. At least, you know, the ones that have been inhabiting this hemisphere, the top hemisphere, north. I guess if your globe was upside down, you'd be like, well, that's top hemisphere. It's all a matter of perspective. But the three big ones, the Halloween, the Thanksgiving, and the Christmas, are and when I'm talking about like not like strip away like the, you know, like, oh yeah, there's we can dress up and there's trick or treats, and then there's the pilgrims, and then there's the, you know, away in a manger. Like I'm talking about, because you take away like the actual calendar dates. The actual calendar dates, which a lot of times the origins don't necessarily line up with like what our current calendar dates are. Isn't it like theorized that, you know, like, oh, possible the baby G was more of like a spring or summer event? Either way, doesn't matter. What I'm saying is having holidays. Hi. Having holidays that have like similar kind of themes at these kind of like specific kind of intervals, people seem to kind of like resonate to it. And there has been like people resonating to this type of stuff for a really long time. Goes way back to like pagan traditions. They stole my pagan. It's like, okay, there's gonna all like sometimes this people my pagan. It's just like, well, which one? Huh? Zeus or Odin? But you think about it, like Halloween is something that's taking place like right at kind of like that peak fall. And it's an acknowledgement of death. It's a holiday where the whole thing is an acknowledgement and an embracement of death, which I think conceptually, thematically, that's like an important thing for people to like, I don't know, like there's something important to just like general existence about that as a concept, to just say like, hey, this is a thing. And then, but we'll also kind of have fun with it. We play with it. That helps. Hi. It helps to kind of like, you know, reaffirm like the natural cycles of life. And it happens in a time when the leaves are falling and the bugs are dying. And imagine that we have a festival of that highlights death at a time when, like, you know, much of the world, quote, is dying. Like I said, mostly in the northern hemisphere, but that's where most of the landmass is, and that's where like civilizations first, you know, came into being. It's in the northern hemisphere. Hi Nadal. Hi Nadal. What are you doing? Was this clicker like boop training?
Yeah.
What does that entail?
Gloria, you want to explain? You know how to? It entails
Meat.
horse meat,
Okay.
a
A target.
tongs,
Tongs.
and a whistle.
Sweet.
Usually there's a tiger.
You.
Usually a tiger.
Okay. That's cool. All right.
And Godzilla. Yeah, right. That'd be fun.
Does he know like what's about to happen?
Yes, he does.
Okay.
I think he's excited.
Okay. Where do you usually do the clicker stuff at?
We're gonna do it right here at his gate.
Okay. Do you mind if I film a little bit of that? Is it okay? Oh boy.
Yes, because I think the only thing is knowing where to, or how to hold everything, you know?
Oh boy. And what is a good application? Like what's like the end goal? What are we trying to achieve with like boop stick and clicker training?
There's a lot you can achieve with it. It helps them. So Lakai is clicker trained. He knows how to present his tail
Ooh.
for blood draws.
Okay.
I don't think Nadal is quite that advanced yet,
Okay.
but he does know a few things. But it's just getting them more, I guess, trained. I don't know, trained to present body parts so we can do.
Trying to present body parts. What? What sort of operation are you running around here?
Melissa, cut that out.
Melissa, cut that out. No, Melissa, keep that in. We need to expose this madness that's happening. I only am here during the weekends. I don't know what happens here Monday through Friday. There's tigers. They're being exposed.
No,
Okay.
they can present their tails and then they can present their paws for
Okay.
nail trimming.
Ooh, there we go. That's nice. All right. So, what do we got? What do we got?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so now you'll just have to adjust.
Okay. Oh my god.
Bless you. Okay, she's putting on the fanny pack.
Sam is also looking up Halloween costumes for Godzilla.
Samuel is also looking up Halloween costumes
For Godzilla.
for our tortoise.
So if anyone knows how to crochet within like a week, let me know.
Howl's Moving Castle. The anime. That would be a great one.
Moving castle. Okay.
I mean,
I know what we're talking about. Yeah.
yeah.
They switched topics.
They did. Okay, are you ready?
This is fascinating. Is he gonna do it again? 3 for 3? My gosh, hat trick. That's amazing. All right, thank you very much, ladies. This is exceptional. All right. Anyway, back to holidays, and then moving on to gobble gobble time. It's oh my gosh, what a coincidence that we have another holiday that celebrates like harvesting, that celebrates the end almost of like, hey, like the end of like the fiscal year. Like we put in so much work, because it's also like it's a celebration and it's a reinforcement of like, hey, if you want to have food, if you want to have good things in your life, you got to put in the work. And let's all take a collective sigh of relief that we did a good job. Again, that's a part of that. What are you? That's dirt. That's dirt. What do you don't? All right, never mind. Just whatever. And this is it, because I do think a lot of our holidays and a lot of our traditions if you look at them through like the lens of emergence, and that's basically kind of like the study of almost kind of like the collective intelligence of a larger group of like individual parts. It's the whole thing where it's like if you were to take like an individual ant and then try to measure its capacity for understanding, it's only going to have a limited capacity. But if you took like the ant colony, even though it's like it can express and move itself in certain ways, that does suggest there's like a collective like understanding of something within its surrounding. It's like a not sitting there. Yeah, it's something that works on like almost like a different kind of framework for navigation, and survival. That it's like it possesses like a certain type of, I guess, like biological wisdom. Yeah, it's interesting, and that's kind of that's fascinating to me. So people are like, oh, I'm an individual and I am so smart. Look at me. But I do think that people as a whole, there is something to groups of people. There's a collective wisdom that it transcends the individual, and it's hard to articulate and it's hard to capture that. But I think a lot of like our traditions, it's almost kind of like our traditions are almost like a subconscious expression of maybe a collective need that we have, or that our traditions like slowly evolve to then act as those kind of subconscious like expressions of need and desire. So maybe we need to have a holiday that reminds us of our mortality, because that's important. And then we also need to have a holiday that reinforces that notion of like, hey, like if you want to have good things for yourself, you also have to have good things for like the collective. Be a good farmer, be a good producer, and then give thanks for the hard work and give thanks for the things that you got. Like there's something to that. But then, of course, it's like, well, we have to have something that's a little bit more kind of like close and relatable. So then we'll, kind of say like, oh, yeah, pilgrims. I was trying to say pilgrims and Indians. Pindians. Pilgrims and native peoples. Yeah, put that. But do you think that this is the first ever harvest holiday? No. Harvest holidays have been happening for, again, thousands of years. And it's all about that thing. It's all centered around that thing up there, not the pipe. What's behind it? It's funny how so many of our holidays, we're so modern and we're so, but we still just like, the sun, like we still do that. Think about it. And then. During the winter solstice, during what is supposed to be like the shortest and the coldest and the darkest day of the year for the northern hemispherians, we've decided to have a celebration of love and life and family. Because that probably makes sense too. Again, from like an emergent evolutionary biology kind of thing, that probably also like serves a purpose in having a wonderful celebration of life in the middle of like the winter, where it's just like, hey, keep the faith. Like, I know it sucks right now. Don't die. If you just hold on a little bit longer, the light's gonna come back. I promise. I'm basic. These are just, my pet theories. But I think traditions are important. Hi boys. I love holidays, especially these holidays, the big three. And it's like it's all part of the, like, for me it's all part of the same, like, big, just like, yeah, like the last quarter of the year is the dopest part of the year. October, November, December, just mwah, chef's kiss. Love it. And it's all centered around the big one. I mean, you know, come on. Like this guy, he's the big guy. The big guy, the Slade. The big potato. Yeah. And that's the other thing. It's like, okay, well, and I'm talking about like, oh, from and you know, I'm here in America. We have, you know, like our traditions that have, you know, developed over the last couple of centuries, which are a lot of times like a reamalgamation of predominantly European traditions. But of course, like, we'll add like different ones because, you know, we are a nation of immigrants, so we add our own like bit of kind of flavors. And those flavors evolve as time goes on, which I think is pretty cool. Ezzy Choo Choo, were you being sneaky? Were you being sneaky? And then you know, like to go like further, we have Easter, very important holiday all across the world. Just so happens to happen, like, you know, when the flowers are starting to bloom, when the trees are first starting to bud. And it's a big, again, another celebration of like, oh my gosh, like, you know, a rebirth, a regeneration, a renewal, a restoration of life. And bunnies and eggs, symbols of fertility everywhere. Oh my gosh, thank God that stuff is going to grow again and we're going to be able to eat some more. Go and make babies. That's Easter. But that's like the subconscious. That's like the subconscious, like this time of year, like goes back thousands and thousands of years, kind of underlying kind of meaning, I think, behind a lot of those, like the accoutrement around those holidays. Regardless of how they've been kind of, you know, reinterpreted or reimagined or remixed. In the modern era. Again, I'm talking about when on the calendar these things are at. I'm not talking about just like whether this is because people's just like, well, that's not the reason for the thing. I get it. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the, you know, like the spiritual or metaphysical, you know, like celebrations that are taking place that are very, you know, important to a wide variety of individuals. Not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is just, it just so happens that we've decided that the calendar should have this holiday and the calendar should have this holiday. And then the calendar should just so happen to have this holiday that very similarly kind of coincides, you know, with like basically the Farmer's Almanac. It's kind of weird, don't you think? Then it goes, it should also be noted, and I know a lot of people know this, but it might be news to some people, that the early Christian church, they actually, they decided to format a lot of like the Christian holidays to then coincide with Roman pagan style holidays and festivals, because it would help with conversion. So then the Romans, because like the Christians are like, hey, join us, and then the Romans are like, yeah, but we already got like our traditions and we got our calendars and we got this cool stuff that we like to do. And then the Christians are like, that's okay, we can work with that. And the Romans like, really? And they're like, yeah. And they're like, all right, where do I sign up? And it's like, that's how a lot of that happened. Good boy. There's a good boy. Alright. Alright. Thank you for watching this episode of the Walk Around the Compound webcast. Hashtag Doorbist Award in the comments section below. Like and subscribe for all of your big cat goodness. And if you want to learn more about the facility around me, you can always visit the website carerescuetexas.com for more information. You keep them tigers fed. Big shout out to the extra fancy patrons. I see you. You are so fancy, and thank you so much for your continued support. And we'll see you next time. All right. Bye-bye.
The webcast is now over. Thanks for watching. You should like and subscribe for more Big Cat content.